Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you wherever you are. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today is a great day. It's a great day because I will have the opportunity once again to talk to each one of you. This portion of our program is being brought to you by Discount Carpet, located at 4301 South Pinion. The telephone number is 525-6700, and I'll be telling you more about Discount Carpet, its owner, and its dreams today. Gates Barbershop says to you, come on by this morning. I'm ready for you. Gates Barbershop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You want to know where you can shop 24 hours a day? Hometown, 2001 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. A happy Saturday from Dr. A.L. Dow, located at 934 Northeast 8th Street. You may contact Dr. A.L. Dow on Monday. And remember, if you're having trouble with your eyes, don't worry. Call 235-0536. Today's program is also being brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company's agent, Marilyn Hildred. Now, if you aren't sure about your insurance and you want to be sure, don't worry about it. Call 843-0811 or go to 730 North Britain Road here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's homecoming time at Shiloh Baptist Church. Mrs. Corrine Corbett is the chairperson, and Brother Benjamin Steele for the 83rd anniversary homecoming committee. Reverend Orlando Black is the pastor. Now, this is the first anniversary homecoming with their new pastor, Reverend Orlando Black. They are expecting this homecoming to mark a new beginning for Christ in the life of Greater Shiloh. The celebration services will begin at 10:45 a.m. with Reverend Capehart, pastor of Solid Rock Community Church, and on and on. It will be a great day for Shiloh as Shiloh celebrates the 83rd anniversary. This portion of our program is brought to you by Leo's Barbecue, where you can eat your cake and have it too, where you can eat the kind of barbecue that you like that remind you of your home state. Go to 3631 North Kelly or Kelly and North 36 and get you some barbecue today. See Charles and tell Charles you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. Today's show is quite interesting. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you that supported us at the state fair. It was just a blast. And I don't know, it's something exciting about the state fair. And I would like to thank all of you because this has been our most successful state fair. You made it. You made it successful. You did it. You came out. You supported us not only with your prayers, but with your presence. And I would like to thank you so much. So many times people come up to me and they say some things and they write me and I don't answer all of them because I just can't. But somebody say, Clara, you know, the people that came to the fair and the people that support you are your false friends. And so I said, well, if they are my false friends, how would you classify yourself? You didn't come to the fair. You didn't support the Freedom Fiesta, but you're such a good friend of mine. I don't understand. And I will have to tell you the truth. There are a lot of false things that I love. I love false teeth. I love false hair. I love false. Oh, I could go on down the line. I don't have to have real vanilla flavor. I like imitation vanilla flavor. Don't you like some false things? I like false braids. I like a lot of false things. Well, I'm not perfect myself, so I can't talk about anybody else. So if you don't like false, if you call my friends false, I don't know what to say about you because I think I have some of the best friends, and I love it. With that false teeth, you couldn't chew those steaks. I love false things, and don't talk about my false friends because I love my false friends. I saw something at the state fair that I had never seen before in my life, and I want to share that with you. But I want to do it in the presence of Calvin. Calvin is here with me, and I want to tell you that I have never seen anything like what Calvin Luper did at the state fair. And I'm going to share it with you. I want you to know all about Calvin Luper and what he did. Most of you know that at the state fair, Calvin works in public relations for CP's Catfish and Miss Maryland's Gumbo. And I'm telling you, he works. He knows more people, and the people know him. Where's Calvin? They call him Calvin Catfish Luper. Calvin, one thing that really got on us, and people laughed about it, was you and your friend Mel. Tell us about it.
You mean my good friend Mel? That Mel and his Mal.
Not a false friend,
Not a
good
false friend, but it's very good. Mel and I are both independent personalities, and we had opportunity to meet several fairs ago, and he's been a regular, and I mean a regular at CP's Catfish and Miss Merlin's Gumbo, and during the time that he's been coming by, we've discussed many things, and we found that we have a lot in common. Part of it goes back from our upbringing. We're around the same age, but we're only different parts of the state. Our experiences are similar. Only thing, he spent a little more time in the service than I did. Purple Heart veteran, Purple Heart winner, veteran, and has some very strong ideas about America. And we found that we agreed on these things. And Mel and I have developed a friendship that goes beyond the color line, and it surprises his friends and it shocks you all and some of my friends that see us when we greet. But this had to be a very special state fair for us because of the fact that I think last year we had discussed the Confederate flag flap that was going on not only in South Carolina, North Carolina, but also there at the state fair where one of the exhibitors was showing that Mel was very vehement in his defense of the Confederate flag, and so we were both. I was in defense of the fact that the flag means more to him than it does to most black folk. But then the realization comes about that it was a flag that flew over parts of America, and people have their own opinion of it. But being a diplomat, and Mel being a diplomat also, we compromised. But this state fair, he really got me because I looked up, and here he comes up with a Confederate hat, Confederate flag on his T-shirt, and Confederate pants, Mom. And I hadn't seen him in a while, but I didn't let that flag stop me from renewing our friendship. And that seemed to put all the exhibitors around us in a state of shock. But the main thing is that he was wearing that to say that he could and to prove his point from last year, but we were still happy to see each other.
I know somebody rushed in and said to me, Mrs. Luper, look, a man out there with a Confederate hat on and things hugging your son. And Calvin, you cannot imagine what I
Well,
said.
no, I couldn't imagine. But one thing about Mel is that he had, and he let me know, and he reminded all of us that he has the right to wear that flag. And I said, well, if that's the way you want to wear that flag, you might as well put it on the backside too. But
somebody asked me,
at any rate, he wore it, and I'm looking forward to it. I think one of these Saturdays we're going to have to invite him out here and be a part of the show, because not only is he a veteran and a church member, but he's an avid hunter. He's in construction business, and he's done a lot on the south side of Oklahoma City during the past 40 years that he's been active over there, from attending Capitol Hill High School all the way up until today. And I look forward to him being out here. And matter of fact, he has a birthday coming up. I think that's next, the 14th. Is his birthday, and I'm looking forward to that. And I know he's listening, and I know that he may call, but we'll see about having him out here, and maybe we can talk a little more about that flag flap.
But Calvin, what amused me, they said, okay, Miss Luper, what are you going to do about it? I said, I'm not worried about Mal. I'm worried about you because he has bought gumbo and catfish.
and he's brought his friends, and he's in a business where he has employees, and I've seen him pull up. And they were just finishing a job, and they've come up there 4 and 5 deep, and they've sat and stayed an hour, 2 hours, eating catfish, eating Miss Merlin's gumbo, enjoying the beans and rice. Matter of fact, it was their feeling, their strong feeling, that helped get us so involved and so enthusiastic about the beans and rice, because that was a great day, and they obviously enjoyed it, and they didn't. And one thing about Mel, he doesn't bite his tongue about what he feels. If it had been bad, he would have told us. But it was good, and he told us,
And
we
he
went on
bought it.
from there.
And I
he
asked
bought
the
it.
person that was reporting
And
to
took
me.
some home.
I asked the person, I said, okay, you're talking about the Confederate flag and Calvin and Mal. You haven't bought even a drink from us. So it seems to me that something is
Well,
drastically
the
wrong.
flag thing, and the reason he was wearing it, because when he looks back at his grandparents and his great grandparents, he finds that they were active in the Civil War, and that they were on the Confederate side. And I look back at my great grandparents, and we were trying to get out from under that flag, and somehow or other, though, we still have some things together that we can discuss intelligently, and we can agree to disagree, and this is what we have done, and what we continued to do during the course of the fair. I didn't talk him into changing his feeling on the flag. He didn't talk me into changing my
But you
feeling.
did talk him into buying some more gumbo.
Well, I didn't have to. He
no.
knew where the good was, and he didn't
Catfish.
hesitate to tell it. And oftentimes I'll be talking to people as they pass by our booths there at the fair, and if Mel was there, he wouldn't hesitate to put the amen in, or actually he
Tell
would
him,
stop him
say-
and tell him himself. He'd say, "Now this is good, and I recommend it." And people that attend the fair have a choice of many foods. But if they see a customer or see a person that is enjoying there in the booth the food that they're eating, then that sort of helps on them. And one thing we're fortunate on is that we have a good product, and CP's catfish, Miss Merlin's gumbo, Miss Merlin's beans and rice. And the way I know it is good is because people who often go out to eat, like your firemen, your policemen, that they don't mind, that they are early patrons,
Car salesman.
car salespeople, people that often spend a lot of time in restaurants. In the mornings, or when we first open, they are the first there to make sure that they enjoy some good food, and I appreciate it, and didn't hesitate to tell them. And then they showed us too, by the way that they ate their food, and looked up, and someone would come back when they were off duty and bring their families, and that really made us feel good. I know Merlin really felt good about it, because the gumbo is a difficult thing, and she's been able to make that gumbo in such a way that people from all over this nation, all over this country, all over this world
Yeah,
really
people
have
from
enjoyed
Wyoming and what have you. Calvin, speaking of catfish and gumbo, how did you feel when that man ordered 100 pieces of catfish?
That was no problem, Mom, because I know, as I say, our product is good. The big problem was that happened to be the morning Mr. Wilson wasn't coming, and he didn't come in that early that morning. And there we had that request. But the young man that ordered it is not a first-time connoisseur of the great catfish that C.P. Wilson and C.P.'s Catfish put out, and he wanted some for his employees there at the state fair, and that was only fair. It was only right. And I enjoyed it, and I know he enjoyed it, because the people that his employees, they would come out after they'd had that. They'd come out and got them another dinner or a sandwich or whatever during the course of the day. But at the state fair, you meet some people, Mom, that there's no telling. You don't know. You can't judge a person by the way they're dressed. You can't judge a person by if they look scroungy, or if they look extremely rich, or diamonds all over their hands or long fingernails. You can't judge them by that. But once you have an opportunity to talk with them, or if they take the time, then you'll find out deeply that there are people that have the same concerns as you, no matter what color they may be. But they try to understand the positions you're in. And I found that a lot of them will go out of their way to help a fledgling business, and that's what we are out there, as a small business trying to grow at the great State Fair of Oklahoma, where I'm proud to say Miss Merlin's gumbo, Miss Merlin's beans and rice, CP's catfish. We put the great in the State Fair of Oklahoma 2000.
Where do you go next, Calvin?
Well, our next stop will be at homecoming, at a place that you love dearly.
I love dearly.
That we love dearly, that Merlin loves dearly, that I love dearly, that hundreds and thousands of other people that have graduated from Langston, have attended Langston University, are looking forward to Homecoming 2000. And that will be an experience of experiences, and that will be October the 21st, and we'll be proud once again to be happy and willing participants in the homecoming festivities at Langston University. You go, Lions. Whether they win the game or not, we know that it will be good to be back at homecoming because there, once again, I get to see people that we hadn't seen in years, and it's still a good feeling to walk on that campus and see the fantastic growth that has happened out there. Dr. Holloway and his staff, and the coach Alexander and his staff and the football team, to see the type students that are there, to see the various students, to see the growth in the GOAT program, to see the growth in the environmental program where they develop in Langston Lake, just to see the growth all over on campus. This is going to be a great homecoming, and I'm happy to be a part of it with CP's Catfish, with Miss Merlin's Gumbo and Miss Merlin's Beans and Rice.
Don't miss that Clara Luper's lemonade.
Don't miss the Clara Luper lemonade. That lemonade, that's really a top seller.
That was a top seller for drinks.
Well, we might have to look into marketing.
But after all, I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma, and when you're from Hoffman, you got something to talk about.
Well, one thing about Hoffmanites, they know how to stop at one stop sign.
That's right. That's more than some people.
I think y'all pass that stop sign when you're learning to drive, 30, 40 times and say, that is a stop sign. And it's still down there in Hoffman, that same sign that you all learn to drive.
You have to watch what you say because there are people from Grayson and Hoffman that are listening.
Well, they know I'm telling it like it is, and that is what it is there. But then that Clara Luper lemonade, it's a top seller. It's a delicious drink. And we really need to look into marketing that.
Calvin, I hate to tell you this, but last week when you sang Happy Birthday, those people out to the fair just rolled. One man said he had never heard anything so funny in all his life. He laughed and laughed and laughed, and he wanted a tape of your singing Happy Birthday.
That was Jim from Cleveland, Ohio.
From Cleveland, Ohio. He said, I never heard anything like that.
Well, he didn't hesitate to tell me either. You know?
He told you couldn't sing?
He told me I couldn't sing, but then he wanted my autograph, and of course, I was happy to oblige by giving him my autograph. The Weekend Singers, and my good friend Berlin Nero came out there, and so he got his autograph also, and I'm glad Berlin came out. It's good to see him back up and kicking, Mom. It's a good feeling.
But he still can't sing.
He still can't sing.
They say
they didn't work on his voice.
They say there are some teachers that can't teach, and they aren't as honest as you, and they won't say they can't teach. Now. And then they went on to say there are some preachers that can't preach. Now, you think a preacher would stand up in the pulpit and say, I can't preach?
No, I doubt
say,
that.
Calvin can't sing and I can't preach. I don't know.
One of these days, and sometime, hopefully before the year is over, I'm going to bring in here a big contract showing you where we will be performing once again on a major stage somewhere. It might be an opening act for somebody to be willing to
Will you be performing during the
us.
homecoming ceremony at Langston University?
Well, Mom, I'm not sure yet. I don't know exactly what all the activities will be at homecoming, but so far my mailman hadn't brought the request or the contract. My fax machine hadn't said it, but I wouldn't doubt that I would have an opportunity to show the Langstonites and Langston University that there is a person that went there that cannot sing.
Today, Mrs. Williams, Cecil Williams' mother, will be celebrating her 97th birthday, and she has a special request, Calvin, that you will sing Happy Birthday to Mrs. Williams, the mother of Cecil Williams, and today Martha is giving a party for her mother-in-law. That is really wonderful.
Well, I'm certain that name will be on the list because I'm looking forward to the celebration also. 97 of anything is great. 97 years, you've really been doing it. Way to go, Mrs.
And
Williams.
Up and out and working every day. Working every day. I'm telling you, she's working hard. Happy birthday to Mrs. Williams. This portion of our program is brought to you by Johnson Chardina's, 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City. If you want to be sure that your children are taken care of, don't worry about it. Call Mrs. Gloria Matthews. I'm waiting on Mrs. Connie Johnson, and I was hoping that she would be able to come in the studio today. Johnson Chardina's, 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 424-4656. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Hello? Hello? Oh, I guess have I missed my call? I don't want to miss any of my calls because you know how I am about you. You're really special with me. My telephone number is 672-1220. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Hello. I still am not making. Okay, well, Calvin will correct it. Speaking of Connie Johnson, I thought she was on the telephone, but she's not. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today is a great day. Today is a big day because you are here. Calvin, I
Yes,
can't.
Mom. You know what I forgot to say this morning?
What did you
I
forget
forgot
to
to
say?
tell you good morning, and to remind our audience that this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. We're here at 12:20 a.m. on KTLV, and would you please do me a favor? Call that friend and call that neighbor. Invite them to be a part of today's show, which is a special show because we know you're listening and we know that we have something that you want to hear. So call that friend, call that neighbor, and invite them to be a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Calvin, yesterday I went out to Tinker Air Force, Tinker Credit Union, and everybody had OU on. They had OU on their face. OU,
That's a
OU,
wise
OU.
place.
That's a wise place. What's going to happen today? Do you believe that OU will defeat Texas?
Of course, Mom, being a diehard OU fan and having attended Oklahoma University, of course we're going to win. I don't know how big a victory it'll be, but any victory, if we win by 1 point, I think all of us will be happy. But it's going to be a game of games, and it promises to be one of the best games of the entire football season. Now, I don't know what them hook'em horns, how many signs that'll be up around that stadium, but it's going to be some horns and some Texas and Bravo, the Bull will be there, and that's really a great atmosphere down there. And it's also during the Texas State Fair. But one of these years, we're going to get that game up here, and I can just see it down in Norman there where we can return to
Maybe you'll
those
get it there in
Texans
the
that
Oklahoma
favor.
State Fair.
That would really be something. That would really be something.
Let
I don't
me
know
s-
where we could hold it.
Let me say welcome home to Betty and William Wedgeworth.
And
They
where
went
have
on
they
a
been?
honeymoon trip all over the United States.
Honeymoon, they've been married.
I know
already
they've been married
What
for a
kind of
long time, but that's a honeymoon trip.
Betty and who? And
Betty and Willie Wedgeworth had
Okay,
a ball. They tell
congratulations.
me there, and yeah, Betty is something that a person that you always expect to be somewhere, and when you don't see her, you say, "Where's Betty Wedgeworth?" Well, she and her husband were touring the United States. of
Well, I know he took
America.
some great pictures. You know, he's an avid photographer too. But then they've been look like you mean this wasn't their second honeymoon. I know this wasn't their fifth or sixth anniversary that they were celebrating because as long as I can remember, they've been a team and they've been.
Oh, they fell in love at Dungy School and that's
Dungy
some
High
love
School.
that has
Oh my
lasted.
goodness. Okay, that has lasted.
This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today I would like to congratulate Mr. McVeigh because he's done the impossible. You remember he used to be located on Northeast 23rd Street, but something happened there. Northwest 23rd, at 501 Northwest 23rd Street. And he woke up one day, and the man said that I'm not going to renew your lease, and you've got to find someone. He just
Now,
had
what
a
is
few days.
McVeigh? What is that business he's
He is in the
Mom?
discount furniture and carpet business.
That's
and
where he has
a
those
big
special
sale.
lamps.
He has a big sale that's on today.
Okay, and new
And-
sale on rugs and everything.
Yes, let me tell you, God opened
Tell
a
me.
way for him. He is now at 4301 South Penn in Oklahoma City. His telephone number is 525-6700. Calvin, I just want you to go out there. I want you to see what can be done. I want you to see the impossible because he has done the impossible.
4301 South Penn, the new location for discounted carpet. And you think
And he
Mike-
has a big sign out there, Calvin. You just got to see it.
I got to
you got
see
to
that.
walk inside and see the arrangements that he has out there. And it's so much better than what he had on 23rd
Well, I don't
Street.
know. There on Northwest 23rd Street, he has some beautiful furniture.
But forget about that.
Forget about that, you see. I got to go to 4301 South Penn and see what McVeigh has up out there. Hey, I invite you to go by there now. That way you see what you see, and then I can discuss it next week or next time we're on
4301
air.
South Penn Street.
And
He
we'll
has
talk
taken
about
the impossible and changed it to possible.
it. Go McVeigh. I have to see it to believe it, Mom. But if you said it, I'm going to tend to believe it. But I'm going by 4301 South Penn, discount carpet, discount furniture, and see for myself.
He has a big sign out there. I like his sign, too. It just makes you feel good when you drive down South Penn and see a big sign. Discount carpet.
Okay.
4301 South Penn Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Does he still have the same high quality merchandise?
Oh, Kevin, you haven't
all
seen
the way
any
around?
merchandise. So you see
I
his
haven't
merchandise.
seen nothing until I
everything that
see
you have seen.
4301 South
4301 South
Well, I
Penn.
tell you.
We've been praying all the time that God would open a way where our people would have things like other people. Well, we are gone to the top. And as I look at the educational situation, I can understand why there were many people in America that did not want blacks to go to school. I didn't want blacks to become educated, because I dare you to give a black man a pen and he'll write like Ralph Ellison. I dare you to put him in a laboratory and he'll come up with peanut butter like George Washington Carver. I dare you to give him a basketball and he become a Michael Jordan. Don't you let him even look at a golf cart and you'll have something that you've never had, a Tiger Woods. But if you can keep them all drunk and stealing, you won't have to worry about them. That's why we need to get smart.
Know where they'll be at.
And I would like to...
You know, that's the growing this business. The state penitentiary,
Yeah,
prisons, that's really a mess. How fast it's growing, and seeing how many minorities are involved in the system in a way where they're prisoners. You know, we see very few guards, we see very few counselors, we see very few administrators that are minorities, but then we look around and just about all the inmates have are minorities. What can we do about that, Lois?
I know what we can do about it. Just stop drugging, stop stealing, and stop killing, and stop stabbing. That's what we can do. I'm waiting on Coco to call me because I got a very special guest today. I want to hear from Coco because I want you to do something for me now. Next week, I am inviting the Honorable Calvin Cox, our representative, the Honorable Mr. I'm inviting all the politicians out because I want to have a debate between Cox and Clara. Won't that be something? I would like to hear that. And I would like to have a debate between Toure and Al. That would be something. I'm going to invite them and see if I can get them out here. Well, I think they might come out if they aren't scared of my questions, because I do have some questions for them that's red hot. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. What's going on in Arcadia, I don't know, but I understand that some of the citizens in Arcadia want to de-annex themselves from the Oklahoma City school system and hold on to the Edmond, get involved in the Edmond school system or the Midwest City school system or what have you. Coco Thomas is supposed to call me, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Coco. Now, what I want you to do today and tomorrow and the next day until the 13th is get out and register. So you will decide who will be the next president of the United States. We need your vote. Who do you think will be the next president of the United States? You've seen them debate. You've heard them. Who do you want to be the next president of the United States? Well, your one vote might tell the story. Your one vote is so important that today I urge you to do one thing, register. And after you register, you get up and go to the polls and vote. I really appreciate the fact that in many of the schools they're having mock elections in order that the young people can get in the mood for voting. I want you to register and I want you to vote. And I want you to use common sense when you vote. Just don't vote. Use common sense. And common sense will tell you to listen to all of the candidates, and I will have them here, and we will give you the issues as they see them. Now, you've asked me, who am I endorsing? I'm not in the business of endorsing. I'm in the business of exposing. You see, some people got to endorse and some people got to expose. And in order to expose, you got to... Tell me right now, was that an appointment that you had to appear during this big ball game? Or?
No, it wasn't. But it was the call that we've been waiting on, and the young lady is ready to give her report. And I'm looking forward to hearing it on a nice, beautiful Saturday morning. And it's none other than my fantastic reporter. and you know who that is out there that listen to the show regularly. I want to remind you, too, that this is KTLV 1220 AM.
Okay, Coco?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter. I hope that you all know that we will be voting soon, and you cannot vote without being registered. So if you are not registered, would you please go out and register because it's not a joke, and your vote can make a difference. Also, don't forget, the NAACP Youth Council meetings are every Monday night at 7 o'clock, and I hope to see you all there. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter.
You go, Coco.
Go, Coco, thank
Go,
you.
Coco. Way to go.
But Coco is so full of energy, and I'm so proud of the progress that
I wonder how
she's
Coco
making.
is about 12 years from being able to register to vote, isn't she?
No, she's not. She's 10 years
She's
old now,
10.
so in 8 more years. But see, you have to start young, and you have to grow up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some important issues that are facing the Oklahoma communities throughout this state. We've got to stand up, and we've got to find out what's going on, and that's the purpose of my program today. I've invited Mrs. Connie Johnson Samuel to be with me today to explain a situation that I don't know anything about it, but I can guarantee you today I will find out something about it. Good morning, Mrs. Good morning, Connie.
Good morning, Mrs. Luper.
Connie, I would like to welcome you to the Clara Luper radio show, and I'm so happy to be with you. I've just seen you grow up, and you're I call you one of mine because your family is rooted into my life, and I've been so proud of them through the years. And I'm proud of you, and the torch has been handed to you, and you're doing your thing. But I didn't invite you here today to talk about your family. Rather, I invited you because I understand you live in Forest Park. Is that correct?
Yes, and I do want to thank you for this opportunity to be here this morning and to provide you with some information about events that are taking place in our town. But before I do that, I want to thank you again for your positive comments about my family. Mr. Wedgeworth is my cousin. So
I didn't know Wedgeworth was your cousin.
Yes, he and my father, who was deceased, Wallace Johnson, are first cousins. I had an opportunity to be in Sacramento this summer at our family reunion, and Mr. Wedgeworth has just been a pillar of our community, and I'm just proud to be his relative. I'm also happy to be here because even though this is an unfolding event, I look at it as an opportunity in several ways.
Okay.
It's an opportunity for our community to come together and display that unity that we know characterizes the town of Forest Park. But the biggest opportunity that I see is for our children. And I have my children here today with me. They did not want to get up at 7:30 this morning, but I felt it was important for them to experience this as well. And they've just been amazed and awed at the process that's taking place in the broadcast studio. We've been watching for about 30 minutes now, and I don't think have ever seen this before, so this is a work in progress as well. I'm also thankful for the opportunity to, at this time, publicly thank all of the parents and patrons of Forest Park and Pleasant Hill, because without this occasion, I could not be here without their help.
Okay, now let me tell you something. I heard now the people say that they are getting ready to close Pleasant Hill School. Is that true?
We feel that is an eventual likelihood. I want to give you a little idea of the history of Pleasant Hills.
Give it to me quickly, please.
Quickly. The school was initially an independent school, and as I understand it, in 1976, the Middale District annexed the school and was given certain financial incentives in connection with that. Since that time, the school has functioned as a kindergarten through 6th grade school, and our children normally attend Pleasant Hill through the 6th grade in their neighborhood. They go from there to Monroney Junior High School, and then they go on to Midwest City High School. And the neighborhood concept is perhaps the biggest aspect of this issue that we're dealing with. But just to give you some quick idea of the chronology of events that have taken place to date, on Monday, the 25th of September, parents received word from Dr. Cheryl Steele about a meeting that would take place at the school on October 3rd.
Okay, just a minute. Who is Dr. Steele?
Dr. Steele is the superintendent of the Middale Public Schools. At this time, she planned to present to us a proposal regarding changing the format of the school from kindergarten through 6 to pre-kindergarten 4-year-olds.
Okay, wait a minute. You're taking me too fast. She plans to do what?
She plans to change the format of our neighborhood school from a kindergarten through the 6th grade format to a pre-K, meaning 4-year-olds, to 3rd grade, and to bus the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders to other schools in the Middale district.
Well, that should be exciting. Is that for better education?
We don't quite understand what the real purpose behind it is. 4 years ago, we had a 4-year-old program at Pleasant Hill that subsequently closed due to low enrollment. Dr. Steele's reasoning in some conversations has been that because of low enrollment, something needs to be done at the school. So that she's going to bus out the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. As we understand it, not bus in any other children in this pre-K through 3rd grade format, not to bus in additional children from elsewhere in the district. So to us, that means an even lower potential enrollment, and when that does not pan out like she's planning, the subsequent closing of the school.
Wait, just a minute, Connie. Now, you are saying that Dr. Steele has recommended or has a proposal to cut out the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade at Pleasant Hill School.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct. And according to Dr. Steele, that aspect of her proposal is not negotiable.
What do you mean it's not negotiable?
It is the way it will be under her plan. She is given this ability, this authority by the school board, the Middale School Board, according to her comments on Tuesday night. She's been given this authority to make such a programmatic decision without the board's considering it, without the
Okay,
board's
now let me
approval.
understand. The Pleasant Hill School is under the jurisdiction of the Middale school system.
That's correct.
Do you have any blacks on that board?
No, we don't.
You don't have any blacks on the Board of Education at Dale City, Midwest City?
Our member representative is Melissa Elzo. I spoke with her yesterday.
Is she black?
I don't believe she is. I've not met her, and let me say I've not met members of the school board, but I don't believe there are any black ones on there. I'd hate to be wrong about that, but I just get the feeling that there aren't.
Okay, now there are no blacks represented, yet you pay your taxes and support the school. And the Board of Education, not Dr. Steele, it was the Board of Education that told Dr. Steele to close Pleasant Hill's 4th, 5th, and 6th grade.
The Board of Education gave Dr. Steele the authority to make programmatic changes in the schools.
And that change meant to take the black kids and bust them out and not bust any white kids into Pleasant Hill.
That's true. Under a previous situation, I believe, that has to do with civil rights, Pleasant Hill being the only predominantly black school in the Middale district is limited in its ability to take in certain students and for certain students to leave Pleasant Hill. As I understand it, that because it's predominantly black, no black children may be bused into the school, and no black children may transfer out of the school under the normal transfer policies. So there are some stipulations, some previous stipulations, that also have the effect of limiting the enrollment potential of the school. And those are the types of historical issues that we're trying to resolve as a group of parents who have organized recently to address this issue. There are many historical perspectives, again, that I don't have the clear picture on, but at our meeting on Thursday night, we had a diverse representation of patrons. We had old and young, we had black and white, we had professional, blue-collar, retired, and presently working. And from this group, we will be able to put together a true description of the history of Pleasant Hill. because this is the story that we're going to have to tell in order to get to what we feel will be the type of educational environment that these patrons want in our neighborhood schools.
All right, now, I want to understand, where did you meet last Thursday night?
Last Thursday night, pursuant to the Tuesday night meeting, parents determined that it was needed for us to organize. And so we met at Town Hall, at Forest Park Town Hall, at 6:30. We will meet again this coming Thursday at 6:30. At that time, we organized 5 committees. We have a legal committee, which will go out and determine the type of representation and persons who can effectively present our case, because we feel that legal recourse at this point is the only avenue that's left to us. We have a PR committee. We have a committee who will come up, again, as I said, with a story, a historical perspective on what has happened at Pleasant Hill and what we would like to see in the future. We have a committee that's also put together to make a presentation to the school board at their meeting on Monday evening at 7 o'clock. And we're encouraging and asking patrons, parents, residents, interested people, because this is not unique to Pleasant Hill. This is a situation that has happened consistently throughout history, whereby a black school has been targeted for behaviors and activities that are different from our white counterparts. And so we feel that everyone has a vested interest in seeing that history does not repeat itself in this instance. We also have formed a pledge committee, and that night I am so proud to say that we raised close to $1,500 to go into our legal defense fund. So we have a variety of activities and committees that are going on that we are asking and encouraging people to come out and be involved in. This is truly an issue that everyone can participate in and in which everyone has a voice.
Are you telling me that you feel, your group, you met on Tuesday night with the superintendent,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And at that time, the superintendent told you exactly what was going to do, and it was in cement.
You know, coming out of that meeting, and I taped it, and I've listened to the tape, and Dr. Steele has really not given us concrete information. It was interesting that prior to the meeting, we had a PTA meeting on Thursday, the 28th, and I called Dr. Steele's office, and I even faxed a written request to her to get a written description of the proposal, and none was forthcoming. We were able, through our elected officials, however, on Monday to get a draft of the proposal. Dr. Steele came to the meeting on Tuesday and proceeded to talk for about 30 minutes before she decided to pass out the written description to parents even. So we've had a difficult time getting concrete information about the proposal. We have a draft that says that the document reflects plans and available information as of that date. As with all programs and projections, adjustments may occur as final plans are made. So we're not quite sure exactly what she's saying, but she did say that in no event would the issue about busing of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders be open to discussion. And in no event,
she didn't say that. She couldn't tell you that you couldn't discuss the issue.
Let me say, it was non-negotiable, which to me translates to we cannot discuss it. She also reiterated that the plan to house pre-kindergarten through 3rd grade was also a non-negotiable item.
So that would leave your parents, with all of your educated blacks and whites in that area, without the power to negotiate, yet you have the power to pay taxes.
We can pay taxes. We cannot be included in plans or development of ideas that affect our community and our property and our children. But we can come in at the point that she has set the plan and help her finalize or carry through the plan.
Well, I would like for Dr. Steele to be my guest because I've always respected Dr. Steele, and I thought that she was a very democratic person and believed in pure democracy.
Dr. Steele is an exciting personality. I was very impressed by her presentation, as much as I disagreed with every word she said. She is an amazing woman, and I'm just awed at her enthusiasm for this plan, but I'm also discouraged by her lack of openness to parents. I'm going to say without a doubt, 100% of the parents and patrons who were there and who I've talked to since that time disagree with this proposal. And they are open to discussing alternative solutions. They're open to providing input so that Dr. Steele can see that we really feel strongly about what she's proposing, and we're really willing, and we've always been involved. We have a group of parents there who have consistently appealed to the school board for improvements in the school. We have a history of low-performing administrators, being assigned low-performing administrators. We've had discussions with Dr. Steele in particular about that fact. But again, we've not had any solutions posed to us other than now we're finding that everything we've ever said has been taken and put into this proposal as supposedly responding to what we've raised in the past. Things like neighborhood schools, things like the before and after school care for children, and early intervention and enrichment programs for our children, the need for increased academic achievement, the need for improvements to our facility. This facility was, again, annexed by Middale Schools in the 70s, and since that time, very little has been done to improve the physical property. But under this new proposal, Dr. Steele would improve all of these areas, and the difference is that she would turn it into something we had never imagined. We feel as property owners in Forest Park that our property values are at stake. There's a history throughout Oklahoma when schools close or when they are changed significantly, the property values subsequently decrease. And we don't want that. The town of Forest Park is a beautiful town. It is a country right in the heart of Oklahoma City.
Connie, you have more faith than I have. Do you think that those middle-class blacks and whites out in Forest Park are going to get behind you 100%? Do you think they are going to show up? Well, I believe they're all scared. I believe they are scared to come out and make their presence known. The telephone number is here is 672-1220. Let me hear from you, some of you scary people out in Forest Park. And you're going to sit up and let the superintendent of school tell you that you can't even negotiate about your own children. I want to hear from you. 672-1220 if you're not too scared to call. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and this is brought to you by Clara Luper's lemonade that you can't do nothing about. It's the best lemonade in the world. Yes, Connie, people tell you I'm with you, and I want to see who's with you. All I want them to do is call me and tell me that they are supporting you.
And for those who don't have, I know your airwaves are going to be just blasting off the hook in a second, but for those who don't have an opportunity to get in this morning, we will be at the Middale School Board meeting on Monday, October 9th at 6:45, and we're encouraging parents to come out and show support. Our children will be there. They will be demonstrating.
Wait a minute. Someone's calling. This is Clara Luper. Hello? Hello? What's wrong? Hello? Okay, you have to turn your radio down. What are you saying?
Hold on 1 minute. Let me turn it down.
Okay, well, turn it down. Because, okay? Hurry up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We got it turned down.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm in Forest Park, and I'm not scared, and I'll be there.
You're not scared?
Oh no, I'll be there at 6:45 on Monday.
And who am I talking to?
You're talking to Teresa Phillips.
Okay, Teresa, I'm going to see you. Now, let's write her name down. I want to make sure she's there.
Are you going to be there?
Huh?
Okay.
I don't live in Forest Park. I can't afford to live in that high area.
Madeline lives there.
Well, that's it. Get on Maryland.
Your great-grandchildren will be going to school there if we can fix this.
Okay, let me hear
I'll
from
see you
some.
there.
Now, okay.
Okay, bye.
Now, you got one person that will be with you. Telephone number is out here, 672-1220. If you aren't scared to come up in front of Dr. Steele and the Board of Education, where you have no blacks. Wait a minute, just a minute. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
I was calling about the issue of the Forest Park, the school,
Yes,
and the meeting.
yes. Are you going to be there? That's what I want to know.
Yes, ma'am, and I'm not afraid. I'm a future homeowner in Forest Park. I'm building now.
You're building, and what is your name?
Connie Burton, Burton.
And Connie, you're building out in Forest Park?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and your children will be going to Pleasant Hill.
Yes, I have a 7-year-old.
Okay, then. Well, thank you for calling.
Okay.
Well, we got two people who aren't afraid. Well, the men out there at home, those men are at home. They sing a song, "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?" Which meant if they had been there, they'd been at home looking at television. Yes, you got to prove a point to me that you are with Connie and Theresa and the group that's fighting for you. Where do you stand on this issue? The telephone number is 672-1220.
And Ms. Luper, on that voter registration piece, I do want to echo your comments about the importance of registering and voting. My mom and the AKAs are doing voter registration at Otwell's grocery store this morning, and we want to encourage everyone. But potentially the town of Forest Park has the ability to affect this situation by who we vote to represent us on the school board. The present member is an appointed person who was appointed to fill a vacancy, and I talked to Mrs. Elzo, and I felt very encouraged by her comments. And we have the ability, depending on how she responds in this crisis, to elect her. He pledged the first $100 towards our effort here, and he is with us in our fight 100%.
We'll see who's going to be there. This is Clara Luper. Hello.
Good morning, Clara Luper, and hello to the radio audience. I'm listening to your program this morning, and I was listening to the lady talking about her school problem. There's one thing that I'm confused, and she said that the children have some special problems, that we have some special problems. No problem is special. Whites, blacks, polka dots, greens, and yellows have the same problems. The black problem is not any different than the white problems. So I don't want her, if she thinks that our problems are different, I wanted to let her know they are not. All problems are the same, and both colors has the same problem. And I'm hoping that they will get to the point where they know that since they are paying tax out there, and they're tax-paying citizens, that they should have some voice into the activities of Forest Park and in decision making. And the only way they can do it is constantly go there. And I can't believe that the superintendent would tell one lady, well, I'm going to give you the jurisdiction to do this without the consent of the parents that's attending. And, you know, we've always been at the little end of the horn. And I understand they're going to transfer the blacks. Why can't they transfer some whites over there? This is the way it's been ever since day one. We have been the people that have been having to transfer, ride here and ride there. And the time, to me, has come when we should have an even rule both ways. If the rule goes from here to here, then it should go from here to there. And I hope you get the message.
Well,
and I want to congratulate you on your fair activities. And they tell me that it was a wonderful fair and a beautiful fair, and that you really had good time selling that Clara Luper lemonade.
All
so
right.
I'll be seeing that homecoming.
Okay,
Yes,
then.
bye.
Well, thank you.
Bye now.
Okay, I would like to speak directly to the people in Forest Park. You have an opportunity because Connie and Theresa and all those believe that you're going to support them. You gave $1,400. Just $1,400? Well, that means that you didn't have 14 people to give $100. All those rich middle-class blacks, they got to come up with more money than that, because if you're going to win it for your children, and you have two beautiful children here, who
Thank
are
you.
they?
My daughters, Anastasia Samuel, is a 6th grader in Mrs. Pat Hill Terrell's class, and my 4th grader, Samantha Samuel, is a product of the issue at Pleasant Hill at this point. She is a student at Creston Hills Montessori Academy.
You have some deep investments here.
Indeed.
Well, where are the men out in Pleasant Hill? Are you men scared to make your voices? You're going to sit on your Constitution and let the women fight your battles? Well, anyway, I'm calling upon all of you, and if I'm not there, I will have one of my reporters there, because we want to see how many of you are really going to come up or either shut up. Now, if you sit out there in those big, beautiful homes and let somebody run over you, I would like to take all of you down to Hoffman and see what you would do down there because we don't take it. I was born on Bull Street and Health Avenue, ran to my back door, and my telephone number was K-O, K-O, K-O. Connie, thank you so very kindly for being my very distinguished guest today.
Thank you, Mrs. Luper.
A reminder, Mrs. Rosetta Coleman reminds us that the Amigos Club will meet today at 4 o'clock at Freedom Center. Calvin, Mrs. Williams, is 97 years old, and she wants you to put everything you can in singing happy birthday to her today.
Well, Mom, first of all, let me compliment Connie on standing up and picking the fight. I mean, not picking the fight, but willing to
But
fight
she's
for
in the
your
fight of
kids.
her life.
And for those Forest Park residents that call, it's a problem that I'm
Do
certain
you
will
think
grow
they're
farther.
scared to really stand up? Do you
I don't
think
know if
they're
they're scared, Mom. I don't think
I
they
think
want
they are
everybody to know
scared.
that they are
I
out
think
there
they are
fighting.
scared.
But something will happen, I'm certain, because once concerned parents get involved in the school system, things get better. But then I can't say too much about the school system because I tried to join the choir at Dunbar, at Truman, Douglas, and Webster Junior High School. Never did get a chance. But Mrs. Williams, this song comes out special to you from the We Can't Singers. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Williams, to you. Happy birthday, and may you have many, many more.
This is a Clara Luper radio show, and once again, I would like to tell you to stay out of trouble. Stop stealing, stop killing, stop stabbing, stop cursing, and stop preparing yourself for a life of crime. I want you to get out and register. This is our last chance. The books will be closing on the 13th, and I want you to be registered. In the meantime, there's a group at the AKAs at Artwells. The Zetas are at Brights, and the Zetas are at home. The Deltas are working, and the Sigma Gamma Rho's are working. I don't know what the Omegas and the Alphas and the Kappa. But anyway, get out and register and vote. This is Clara Luper saying that I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma, and I'm not scared of nothing. How about you out in Forest Park? Bye-bye, and I do love you.